Most people don't notice when a friendship becomes a performance until they're exhausted from a show nobody asked them to stop doing. You've been there, smiling when you didn't feel it, showing up when no one showed up for you, carrying conversations, carrying plans, carrying the whole thing on your back while telling yourself that's just what good friends do. But something started shifting, didn't it? Maybe it was a birthday they forgot, a crisis they ignored, a success they couldn't celebrate without making it about them. Or maybe it was smaller, a pattern you couldn't name but started to feel, like being thirsty in a room full of people holding water. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you left a hangout with those people and actually felt filled up? Not drained, not performing, not wondering if you said the wrong thing or laughed at the right time. When was the last time you felt like yourself around them? If you have to think too hard, that's your answer. Here's what I learned the hard way. Some people don't want your friendship. They want your function. They want what you provide, the favors, the validation, the audience for their problems while yours sit in the corner gathering dust. They want someone who makes them feel important without ever returning the weight. And you've been that person. Not because you're weak, because you're loyal. Because somewhere along the way, you decided that love means staying, that real ones don't leave, that friendship is about showing up no matter what. But nobody told you the other half of that truth. Loyalty without reciprocity isn't friendship. It's sacrifice to people who never asked you to stop bleeding. Robert Greene wrote about power, how people use it, trade it, hide it. But buried in those pages is something most miss. The people who drain you most aren't enemies. They're the ones you'd never suspect, the ones you've defended, the ones you call when something good happens, only to hang up feeling hollow. They don't betray you with knives. They betray you with absence disguised as presence. Texts they never answer, except when they need something. Plans they cancel, but somehow never when it's for them. Conversations where you realize 30 minutes in, you've only talked about their life. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think maybe you're too needy, too sensitive. Maybe you expect too much. But needing to be seen isn't too much. Wanting to matter isn't weakness. That voice telling you to shrink, that's not wisdom. That's the wound talking. Think back to when you were younger. Friendship was simple then, unspoken. You shared snacks without tracking who owed what. You defended each other without calculating cost. You didn't perform, you just were. What happened? Life complicated things. People changed. And somewhere along the way, you started tolerating dynamics your younger self would have walked away from in an afternoon. You lowered the bar slowly, invisibly, until showing up at all felt like enough. Until crumbs started looking like meals. But your gut never forgot what real felt like. That's why it tightens when you're around them. That's why you rehearse what you'll say in the car. That's why you feel relieved when plans get canceled, then guilty for feeling relieved. Your body knows what your mind won't admit. I'm not telling you to blow everything up. Not every friendship that fades is toxic. People grow apart. Seasons end. Sometimes the distance isn't betrayal, just life doing what life does. But there's a difference between a friendship that drifted and one that drained. Drifted means both of you floated. Nobody's fault, just time and change. Drained means one person carried while the other person coasted. And you know which one you've been. Here's what Marcus Aurelius understood 2,000 years ago, living among politicians and snakes and people smiling while sharpening knives. He wrote that we shouldn't be surprised when people act according to their nature. The vine doesn't apologize for climbing. The scorpion doesn't explain why it stings. And some people, no matter how long you've known them, were never capable of what you needed. Not because they're evil, because they're empty in places you assumed were full. You projected your depth onto them, your loyalty, your way of loving, and they accepted it because it benefited them. But they never matched it, and they never will. That's not pessimism. That's clarity. So what now? You don't need a dramatic exit. No confrontation, no speech. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply pulling back. Stop initiating, stop carrying, stop filling silence they should be filling, and watch what happens. Watch who notices. Watch who reaches and asks genuinely if you're okay. The ones who disappear when you stop performing, they gave you your answer. The ones who stay, who reach back, those are the ones worth holding. I know this hurts, because it's not just about them. It's about the years you invested, the memories you shared, the version of yourself that believed in something that turned out to be thinner than you thought. But grief is not failure. Grieving a friendship that wasn't what you thought, that's just honesty catching up to hope. And on the other side of that grief, there's space. Space for people who actually see you, who ask about your life without needing a script, who celebrate your wins like they're theirs, because in real friendship, they are. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. And now, maybe for the first time, you're seeing that clearly. Not with anger, not with bitterness, just with the kind of clarity that only comes when you've carried something long enough to finally feel how heavy it was. Set it down. You've earned lighter.